Is French Montana black? How about Meghan Markle's babies? Does the one drop rule still exist? Can Cardi B say the N-word? Hopefully all these questions will be answered in this episode of A Parlay and the Egg.
Say no more.
Hey everybody, I'm Andre Akeem, and joining me are my very special guests today again. We have Monique Nicole, we have Kali, and we have my cute boyfriend, Jared B. So this will be our panel today, and the topic of the episode is, how would you define blackness? Who is considered a black person to you in your own words? So I'm going to start off like always, like the last time you ladies were here. I'm going to start out with some initial questions, and then it'll kind of like prep us into the main topic of the podcast. Okay. Y'all so tense about this today. I really didn't think black folks would be like tense about talking about who we are. Like,
I know, it's just a heavy topic.
Okay. I'm gonna start off with a basic one, which I'm pretty sure y'all all ran across in y'all lifetimes. And that's if you were filling out a job application and you get to the race/ethnicity part of the application, what box do you usually check in? I'm gonna start with Kali.
So
also, if you need like the boxes, I have a little link I can pull up. Okay.
You came prepared.
I came a little prepared today, y'all. So usually that's on the box is like the initial question, which is like your ethnicity, Hispanic or Latino.
See, that's where I get caught up at.
Number one, Kali.
That's the first question they ask, and I'm like,
well,
what so I don't even gotta check that box. I'm black and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So I hit it. Yeah.
You hit Latino.
So you hit Hispanic and then black.
Yeah.
And so then you go down to the second part of it, which of course you have black or African American, American Indian or Alaska Native, Asian, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander, and of course white. So you say you do the your Latino, and then you also do the.
I check the African American box. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's
you're both.
All right. How about you, Jared?
I check black. I'm half Trinidadian, half Jamaican, but I'm first generation American. I was born in Florida, so.
But we also had a discussion real quick with your cousin like a week ago, and he said he checks other.
Wow.
So, yeah.
But I consider him a black man. He's Trinidadian. His skin is just lighter. He doesn't have as much melanin. And then his mom is from Trinidad. She's light skinned, and his dad is Indian.
Oh wow.
But he's Indian, but he's also from Trinidad.
But if I seen him, and no shade to Justin because I love Justin, but like, if I didn't know him, like I would not think he's a black person. I would just leave it at that. But he's cool. Like now knowing him, I consider him like. I consider him at least black. I don't know also what he identifies with, but I consider a black person.
Yeah. I consider him black as well.
Monique.
So I am black, so that's what I click is black or African American. And then not Hispanic.
Yeah, same. So we're the same.
They do ask you that.
Yeah, so I click no Hispanic or Latino, and then I click black or African American.
Yep.
Okay, so that wasn't so hard, y'all. We got through the first one. And so what country of origin are you guys' parents from?
America.
Both from America? Okay. And then your parents, of course, we just explained it.
Yeah, first generation, so Jamaica and Trinidad.
And my mom is Jamaican. My dad is American, so I'm a Jamaican.
Oh, I never even heard that before.
That's the phrase.
Okay. My parents are both from America, the southern United States, and be more specific, a small town of Natchez, Mississippi. And so, like, I know all of my family from being from that place and, like, from that town. So it's just, like, that's where I trace back my roots the most. So, and then, like, the last one is just, like, how do you personally identify? So I personally identify as just being, to put it in short terms, Black American. And just simply like, I know I'm black, but I know like the culture I adapt to most is American culture, and that subculture of that definitely is being a Black American and being black. So that's who I identify myself as. I wouldn't even go as far as saying African American sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll touch on that.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Yeah, that's a
no
whole
shade,
other
no shade. But
yeah.
you, Khalid, how do you identify?
I say Black and Puerto Rican.
Black and Puerto Rican, so y'all okay.
Okay, I say Black or African American.
Black or African American,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah, I also don't say African American. I'll say Trinidadian, Jamaican, but born in Miami.
Come on.
And just backing that up, like real quick, we do have a section on the Caribbean, but you don't announce that you're Jamaican at all?
I don't announce it.
Okay.
Really? But what about with your culture? Like,
I don't announce it. It comes up in conversations.
Oh.
So
But I'm not like
You introduce
I'm not
them
like,
now.
hi, I'm Monique. I'm half Jamaican.
Oh,
like
no.
no.
Not that.
No,
But
no.
if somebody like comes up to you and is
Like, where you from or something?
Do you just
I'm
say,
from-
"Oh, I'm Black," or like, from Georgia?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I wasn't born in Jamaica, so
Yeah.
it's completely different. If I was
Okay.
born in Jamaica,
So I'm gonna go back and repeat the topic of the episode, and that's how would you define Blackness, or how would you define a person who is Black in your own words? Anybody want to answer the topic question first?
Y'all got that.
no, I don't got
Okay.
that. I don't know how to answer.
Where is it? Let me see.
Yeah. So how would you define Blackness?
I don't know.
Who
how
is
to
considered a
answer.
Black person to you?
Oh.
So we're talking about Black. Like I feel like Black is like America. Like you're somewhere in your lineage. Like your ancestors were slaves.
So
I feel like
okay.
African American are people who are African and
No, I hear what you're saying.
Because y'all were kind of like against. It sounded like you guys were against saying African American. So I'm trying to figure out what's y'all opinion, because that's a controversial thing. Some people are saying you should be proud to say you're African American, and then other people feel like, well, no, I'm not.
I've been to Africa before, Tanzania to be specific, but I've never lived there. I would feel like a hypocrite saying I'm African.
Okay.
Because it's just like, I don't know of this culture.
There.
Yeah, I don't have family there. And like, I don't even feel like I have the privilege to say I'm from such and such. Even though like we did our 23andMe and stuff like that. And so I know I'm specifically the most from Nigeria and Cameroon, Togo, and countries the West and the South. But I can't claim it. I don't feel right claiming it.
Okay.
So that's why it's like I said, no shade to people from Africa, but it's just like I don't identify as being African.
Okay.
And like people from Africa don't say they're Black. Like they're like, oh, I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Ghana. Like I am African American.
And so that term, and that's
they
what
don't even say American. They say I'm African.
Yeah, I'm African. Yeah.
So even like with that term Black, so like to me, like this is my definition, my personal definition. Like I would describe someone who is Black as being a part of the African diaspora, and more specifically ancestors who were victims of the transatlantic slave trade. That's how I would define it in my own words.
That was a great
that was it.
And that's before I even researched terms, because I was just like, I want to have my own personal opinion. And then like I had to do research on this topic myself. So that's when I was like, these are like, in my words, how I would define being Black.
Okay, for me,
that's good.
But some people might have a different opinion.
Yeah,
and I'm here
to I feel like you can still be a Black person being from Jamaica, being from, there are Black people in the DR, there are Black people in Cuba, there's Black people in these all different kind of countries that are from those countries. They have like maybe a different culture, but I feel still like they're still Black. They have melanated skin. If you didn't know what country they were from and they walked in here and they were Black, you would be like, oh, that's a Black person. At least that's how I would identify.
Okay, I kind of just thought of something. If it sounds crazy, just let me know. But like, I feel like Black people are like just the people that were taken away from Africa. And it's like, like no matter where you're at, like your family was taken out of Africa. You didn't just somehow, get there, like,
like you didn't come to the Americas willingly. Yeah, that's how I see it. And so I think and like what she was saying back in the day, I feel like this is such a new thing. People from Africa did not used to identify as being Black like that.
No.
Like I remember this be like when I was growing up in grade school, I would remember like, I was like, oh, like if I saw an African kid and I was like, oh, such and such is Black. And there's like, no, I'm not Black. I'm I'm Nigerian, or I'm this or that. They would not identify with the term black.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's confusing in 2023 that people love being identified with being black, but I feel like it's more because, like, I don't know, it's more of a trendy thing to say, unfortunately. Well, I mean, hopefully, fortunately, like, I thank God we're trending, whatever. But once this trend goes away, are you still going to identify being black?
I hope so. Okay.
Right.
I mean, maybe also because we have Black Lives Matter now, and all this stuff is happening to Black people, so people are kind of taking back the word, kind of like the N-word. If they thought it was derogatory, didn't want to identify as Black before, but now they're like, okay, we're standing up for ourselves, kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, everybody can have their own preference on what they want to be called, but I feel like if you get pulled over by a cop, they're not gonna care if you're from Nigeria.
Okay.
You Black.
You are.
So, I mean, rep where you're from. Do all of that. I respect all of that. Cool. I have a lot of Nigerian friends, but if it's gonna be a debate about I'm not black, well, guess what?
All right. And
you black.
I really feel that, because that's, like, even with this next topic, like, even with this next question, does a person have to have a certain hue, shade, skin tone to be considered black enough? And I know that trickles in, I feel like, to the whole dark skin versus light skin debate. And so, I just kind of want to, like, hear y'all opinions on that. If you're too light, are you considered black? If you're too, obviously not too dark, but if you're too light, are you considered not black?
I feel like we do a double standard with that. Like, I feel like I notice, let's say it's a biracial person and they are darker skin or have certain features, they're considered more black. Like, they don't have to prove their blackness as much, I feel like, as a biracial person who is fairer skin. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to think of an example. I want to say Drake. He's light skinned, but
I feel like he has to even put on more just to, like, look, I'm black, y'all. Like, I feel like he does the most sometimes.
Sometimes he does. So I wonder if that's his own, insecurity, whatever. But I just feel like I've seen it happen.
Like, they have, like, more to prove, or people, like they hold them to a higher standard.
Like a biracial person, well, actually, I don't know, because I'm about to say somebody else, but we're giving them a pass. We'll talk about it later, because, like, you brought up Cardi B. Oh. And I'm thinking, like,
we gave her a pass?
I'm thinking, she gets a pass. She's allowed to say the N-word, basically.
Okay, we're going to come to that. We're going to come to that.
Let me know, because I'll put it on pause.
Yeah, I need to... We'll talk about it.
Okay.
But how about you? Do you consider, like, do you have to battle with that struggle because you're more lighter? Do you have to battle with that struggle at times?
No,
proving your blackness?
I'm only light in the wintertime. I'm no.
You tan in the summer.
Girl, we work together in the summer.
And I was dark.
Girl, bye.
No, I
trying to fight for
her.
She's trying to fight for her melanin.
I don't.
So you don't even know we talking about their struggle. They know I'm black.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Like, I'm black. Like black.
I mean, if I saw you, I would assume you were a black woman.
But I would think you're mixed with something, possibly.
Okay.
But I also would believe, if you said no, I'm just black, I would believe that too. So it could go either way.
That's true.
For me, in my opinion.
Like, that's how I was raised. Like, I have the other side, but it was always, you're black.
Yeah.
How about you, Redbone Jared?
I am not red.
You turning red, literally. You literally turning red.
What was the question?
No, really. What was the question?
The question was basically, do you feel like a person's certain hue or shade? Do you feel like it has to be a certain type of hue to be considered black?
For me, I would say no. Just like we spoke about my cousin Justin, he's pretty light skinned, but I still consider him a black man. My grandma, she's raised in Jamaica. Both her parents are black people, and she's lighter than anybody on this panel or in this room. But I consider her a black woman. So yeah, I feel like if you have that culture and you're from those islands and your parents are black, like, even if they may be a little more light skinned, you're still a black person.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't understand why people get so tripped up on this when they see it in the news. They're so like, oh well, this baby's too it's way too light, or this hair is too
babies are all white. Black babies
straight to be considered black or whatever like that. It's not a black baby, whatever. Yeah. And we'll get into like more of this, but like I don't know. I feel like one, the Huxtables, the Cosby Show was a good example that like people can be in the same family and be different shades.
Yep.
And even growing up, like I had even like some difficulty understanding that when I was a kid. Like my dad's side of the family was a lot lighter than my mom's side of the family. And I was just like, why is this? Like I didn't understand. But like if you're a grown person, you understand how the shades of being black works.
Yeah.
And so
it just depends. It's
DNA.
DNA,
genetics.
Genetics and stuff.
And so that moves us to the next question. What do you feel like your percentage of ethnic origin you have to have? Do you feel like it's a specific percentage you have to have to be considered black? Like, say you're a quarter or less than a quarter, are you still considered African American or black?
It's just like, do you do like black stuff? Not black stuff, but like traditional stuff. Like,
like black culture, are you?
Yeah, is it a part of your culture?
Yeah.
Like, is it something in your daily life? Like, like even though it's a little bit, like it's my family. But
so that gets tricky because it's just like, why is why does the goalpost change because this person's more into black culture, or like versus they have the same DNA, they have the same percentage. Like say some person's 15%. Like I don't know how, but they looked this up. And this person, they grew up in this household where both their parents were, I guess, black, but maybe it was like they were also multiracial people. Okay. But they grew up within black customs. They just kept marrying people that look like them, whatever have you. And they did the same DNA test versus this girl that just found out she's somehow 15% black, but she grew up in a white family. Are they not treated equally in their blackness?
I don't know. That's hard because that makes me think of like, what was her name? Rachel
Dolezal. That's a well. Was she? Did she even have any black DNA in her?
Stats, but
her mom and daddy said she was white. I don't know where she's getting this from.
I honestly have no clue.
I don't know why her hair is 3A right now.
She did a 23andMe and she came out to be 15% black. Would people have to apologize to her?
Right.
I don't know about that one.
Because my little sister, she's 25%, you know, if we get in technical.
And is her skin tone the same as yours?
Nah, she came out white with blonde hair.
Yeah.
Because her grandmother is white.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like people who are like fair skin have to prove or fight for their blackness. I'm not saying it's right, but I feel like the black community can be very harsh sometimes on each other. So,
I mean,
that's a good question as far as like the percentage, because I don't know.
I think you need to be a quarter. That's just my personal opinion. If we gonna get real about it, because if you dropping, we gonna get into it. You dropping the N word, you doing things like that, and you wearing your hair a certain way. And not even the hair thing so much, but it's just like things that are like it's sacred or it's just like sensitive about our culture. That like, yes, I get to do this and you don't because of a history, and we're not gonna act stupid here. Yeah. So to me, I need to like acknowledgement that like, oh, you at least a quarter black. Okay. That's my personal opinion.
I can take a quarter.
Yeah.
But back in the day, which I found interesting in this topic too, was the one drop rule. Okay. And so literally, this is literally some old like
is that
pre-civil rights era type of shit. Like it's literally, it's like, I'm trying to even find the one black ancestor rule, meaning that a single drop of black blood makes a person black. Some courts have called it the traceable amount rule, and anthropologists call it the hypodescent rule, meaning that racially mixed persons are assigned the status of the subordinate group. So it's like basically, and that's what's offensive about it. It's the one drop rule. It's like, oh, you got tainted blood, basically. So you're all, you know what I mean? Right. You're not pure. Exactly. Yeah. So when people like, when I hear terms like that, even today, it's just like, why is that so deep though? Like, I don't know, like what y'all are saying too. I think it's more to do your culture and different things like that. Like, but to say like, oh, you have this one drop rule, I'm gonna like make you what I want to make you, or like you have to like identify with what I want you to identify with. I'm just like back up a little bit.
Yeah. But I don't think now. I mean, there's so many interracial marriages and interracial children now that in a few years, I feel like everybody's gonna be part of if that's a thing, the one drop rule, everybody gonna be black.
Yeah, a person of color.
Yeah.
Do y'all feel like you have to grow up in certain communities to be considered Black enough? And I know we talked about this like at the when we were all meeting up, because it's just like you asked the question. Do you want to bring that up?
Oh yeah, like the neighborhood y'all like where'd y'all grow up?
How we grow up?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, so when I lived in New York as a young kid, I grew up in a predominantly Black area. When I moved here, it was predominantly white. So
How old were you when you moved here?
10.
Okay.
So I was still young, and yeah, it was a culture shock. A culture shock to say the least. I mean, that question, I feel like, of course, people who are from the hood, it's like they rep it.
Yeah, it's an identity too in itself.
Exactly. So, but I don't think your Blackness, is determined by where you reside.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I grew up in Pembroke Pines, Florida, which is like Fort Lauderdale area. It was very like suburban.
Okay.
Yeah, but I consider myself Black, even though
Exactly.
honestly, up to middle school, I probably hung out with mostly only white and Hispanic kids. And then when I started at a new high school that they built, like there were a few more Black people, and a lot of them were like Jamaican or like Haitian.
Wow, that's a diverse community though.
Yeah.
So I started to gravitate toward them more, and that's when I learned more about Black culture, because I honestly didn't know a lot about it before then. Yeah, I'm still learning about it, just dating him. Like, I recently learned what jumping the broom was, probably from,
Oh, wow.
Because we don't have that there.
So you basically grew up in a suburban community?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so did I. Basically.
And so do you. Okay.
What about
okay,
you?
all right. I guess I'll give the hood stories, huh? No.
No, hood love me, don't get it wrong.
No, like I grew up in like, it's weird because I have a lot of different cultures. So I was born in Minnesota. I grew up, when I lived there, mostly on the east side of St. Paul. And that's kind of like, it's in the city. So it's the Twin Cities. You have Minneapolis and St. Paul. So like, it's kind of like, it was all right, but it's kind of like, there are rough spots to it too.
Okay.
And so, but like, also, my mom sent me to private school. So I would go to like school out in the suburbs at like this Christian private school. And so like, a lot of my classmates were white, and like, and then it was like a whole Christian culture. So that was a lot crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then my parents were divorced. And so my dad lived in Mississippi. My grandparents lived in Mississippi. So I would like spend summers down there. Sometimes I lived down there. Like I lived with my grandma and my granddad, and I lived with my dad for a while too. And so like I have this Southern culture to me too. And so I have a few different cultures. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in a white town.
Here in Georgia?
Yeah.
No, in Jersey.
Jersey.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I grew up in my granny's house. Like she raised me.
So we relate on that.
It's like
level.
I went to a white school, but she didn't play that.
Yeah.
So.
And your grandma was Black?
Yeah.
Okay.
From Alabama.
Okay, Southern Black grandmothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Nice.
Because I think that's how we first started talking. Like, we both were like raised by our grandparents. So I'm like, look, I understand. Y'all got candy and I got like prunes and stuff like to treat. Like, that's crazy sometimes. I'm like, grandma.
A little strawberry.
Like, but let me tell you, I appreciate some fruit today. Like, and shout out to that because that's so healthy. Like, fruits and raisins. Like,
that is so funny.
But so do y'all think like based on what communities you live in, like that also is a threat at your Blackness? Because I've had like even me, like when I was like when I moved and different things like that, and they like heard my accent, especially like when I came from Minnesota to Mississippi, it was just like, oh, you white, you're not really Black. And so like you get that Oreo and type.
Talking to
yeah. You talk like a white girl.
Yeah, I got that.
Oh, you're an Oreo. I got that.
Yeah.
White.
Oh, so y'all. Okay, of course.
Yeah.
Did you ever have? I don't think you ever
never really got that.
Because you hung out with like the Black kids like that. So
yeah, and then but even my parents said my parents say I sound country, but then like when I move here, some people say I sound like I'm from the Caribbean, which I don't really hear that. I feel like I speak like a normal Florida person does.
I hear
Yeah.
Yeah, but do y'all think that's okay for?
Well, because I met this one lady.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a little older, not like old, but you know. And she's black, but from a white town, but like it's like she's white. Yeah. Like she was married to a white dude for a long time, and when she got a divorce, it was just like her black turned back on. Okay, girl. So it was weird. Really? Yeah, like even hearing her say the N-word didn't sound right.
How she said? What's up?
No, not the ER. I'm
gonna have to bleep
that out because
I hope she don't watch. But like she was talking to this thug, and she would be like, "Oh yeah, my thug." Yeah. And I'm
like, no,
just like,
you're a white woman. No,
literally, that's how I felt.
Like cringe.
It was everything was so cringe. So that's why I kind of was like, no, because I met a black woman who you couldn't tell her otherwise she was white.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I love you. My sister,
God.
My sister speaks like a white girl. Like she sounds.
I did not promote him saying this.
And she used to be married to a white man, and a lot of people say like. They used to call her like a black Barbie, like a little, like she acted
Valley
like a
girl.
White girl. Yep, Valley girl. Mm-hmm. But now, like, since she's lived in Atlanta and she's not with her ex-husband anymore, like, and she's also hanging around more black people, I don't know, she's starting to learn more about black culture. Because even, like I said, when we went to high school, middle school, like, we were raised around a lot of white and Hispanic people. Mm-hmm. So that's what she knew.
That happened to me though. I used to talk really white, and then once I went to college, I went to HBCU, so
that turned
culture shock.
Oh, that would have been dope.
I started because like it's like I couldn't talk how I wanted to talk around them because I was looked at as like ghetto, unprofessional. Like you know, I felt like when I was in school, it was more so business than like learning environment.
Wow,
okay. Interesting.
I feel it doesn't matter. Like I know like situations could be cringe or whatever, but I'm not gonna take anybody's black card away just because like they don't subscribe to the certain cultures I subscribe to, or just like are like I am. Like we always talk about black folks not being monolithic, and
but we are so
we do it all the time.
Yeah, we really are. It's bad.
So unless you say like I don't identify with being black, even though that's not possible. I'm gonna still consider you a black person, like whatever, you know what I mean?
Wait, what's the dude's name from the Boondocks?
Uncle Ruckus. Like if it's on that level, or the girl from the Dr. Phil show.
Just know that I'm white. I mean, she might not know that I'm white, but I know that I'm white. I can feel it through my veins. I feel it through my blood.
I tell my mom I'll never be like any of those Negroes. My mom tries to criticize me about my supposed race. I tell her she's just ignorant.
If it's on those levels, like, all right, dude. You don't want me to think you black? Bet. Like, I'm not about to argue with you. Like, but, like, generically speaking, like, I'm going to just consider you black off the bat. I don't care how you act, so.
Okay. Yeah, like, at the end of the day, you black.
You black, but...
But we ain't claiming you for real.
Okay. I want to also, like, kind of go into the conversations more of, like, within, like, different countries, not specific to the United States of America. Like... Do you feel like the term black is only exclusive to Black Americans? And so, like, do you believe, like, people from African countries can be considered themselves as black? Do you believe people from the islands?
I have family in the UK.
You just were on vacation to the UK?
Yeah, I was in London.
I forgot to ask you about that. That looks so dope.
Yeah, they're black. Like,
they consider themselves black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're Jamaican.
Well,
but they black.
They have Jamaican. Yeah, some of them are Jamaican. Yeah. I guess they're all Jamaican. Yeah, never mind. But yeah.
But it's like, where did black really come from, though? Like the phrase. Like, would you say it's from, like, us trying to get freedom and stuff like that? Like.
So I actually.
From like.
No. I just I actually looked up some definitions to it, and it's funny you asked that, and like. Because it's like, I don't think it's one proper definition for black, if that makes sense. And we didn't even get into the conversations about like Indian people, like Eastern Indian people. Yeah. They literally, their skin tone is just as black. And so like, do you even consider that black? And I don't think any of them would consider themselves a black person.
They consider themselves Indian.
But I'm going to read these definitions. So from the census, like literally when you fill out government paperwork, this is what they consider a black person. It's a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. So origins, anything, I guess, ancestry. And then this was a definition from the Free Dictionary by Farlex. And this is a person with dark skin who come from Africa or whose ancestors came from Africa. And so it gets a little bit more specific, but not really. And then I also found like the historical, when the term started being used in America, the United States, and that was like in the 1960s, like in the civil rights era, and Black folks didn't want to be called Negro anymore. So they coined the term Black.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because, Negro became offensive.
Yeah. And
so they didn't want to be called that anymore.
So they took this new ownership of a new word. And so that's why I'm trying to understand. Because you know, or like even you, like, do you know if like your family referred to themselves as Black back in the day? Yeah.
I have no
That's
idea.
what I'm trying to understand. Yeah. Like, was it a universal phrase back then?
Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. We have to
my grandparents. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be the last one, and we're going to kind of wrap it up real quick, and we're going to get into all the... So it's just like, with that, I think the biggest debate about this whole thing is just like Black culture and like who can partake in Black culture, who can benefit from Black culture. And so I know that's his own like term in itself, but like I think we all understand what Black culture to a sense at this table is.
Yeah.
And so like I want to go into that, like, because we have people who are, a lot of people saying they're like pretending to be Black or whatever, and then they get to wear their hair in certain hairstyles and things like that. Do you think there has to be levels to who can do that or not?
Like who can get like braids or something?
Yeah.
See, it doesn't faze me, but I'm just speaking for me. I know some Black people who don't like to see white people and others with dreads and braids, but to me, it doesn't bother me. We have bigger fish to fry, in my opinion. Yeah. So that stuff never really bothered me. But I also think it depends on the person too, a little bit. Like, we all know some white people who are like woke, so we give them passes or we kind of accept them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people also get passes as well.
As like how much you understand the culture.
Exactly.
And you're not like, making a mockery out of it. That's my biggest thing.
And not making a mockery
That's my biggest
thing. Like, we have a whole, like, joking, like, phrase about who's invited to the cookout if you're non-Black. Like, come on. Like, we all know, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
How about y'all? You have any stake in that?
Like, I agree with that. But, honestly, white people shouldn't wear dreads because it's not just made for their hair. Like,
it looks amazing.
It don't be given
like
orange be given.
Yeah,
like, when you dredge your
dreads
hair,
are made
wash
for
it,
like
just nasty.
certain textures.
Yeah,
I don't know. Box braids are a lot for me when I see them. I'm just like, but like it's not that common.
But like,
I think what some people get serious about is these next few ones, and that's like, I feel like to the point of like you're benefiting in like you're in Blackness, and that's specifically like, I know acting roles was a big thing. And some people even got more specific to like,
it bothers me.
Black people from overseas portray Black people in the States, like historic figures, like Harriet Tubman. What was her name?
Cynthia.
We have Cynthia a lot of British actors here. I think the argument is ignorant, in my opinion. Like, you're questioning another person's Blackness because they're from a different like country than you. Like, just because they're from the UK, that doesn't make them less Black. Like, they can still understand the Black experience. You know what I mean? The history that we had to go through. I know it's different because in America, it's very race driven. It is like race.
It's very
nonstop, all the time. It's a talking point all the time. It's in your face. So in the UK, it's not like that, but they still deal with race and racism and stuff like that too. So I just think it's ignorant when that happens and we start questioning Daniel Kaluuya and all these other great actors that have done amazing work and they portray the hell out the role. Yeah. Why are we questioning them as if they're not Black enough to portray these characters? So I just think it's a disservice to our own people to then question each other like that.
I agree with that 100%. And there have been Americans who've taken roles of other people in other countries too and portrayed their historical figures. So it's a thing that happens in the acting community that I think I don't think is abnormal. What I think some people are a little bit offended by, like, because it's great when like, okay, they do have the same features as these historical figures, but when you don't exactly look like these certain people you're trying to portray, that's when it's a little bit tricky. Like even when Zoe Saldana played Nina Simone,
God,
and if you listen to some Nina Simone's music and just who she is and what she spoke about, she was a proud Black, like these are Black features type woman, and she wanted to edify that and make that beautiful. And so I think some people took that the wrong way because like, yo, like this is the moment. This definitely you need to choose a black woman. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Because
Zoe Saldana, she's
Afro Latina.
She's Afro Latina, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe her last name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's mixed. I don't know.
Whatever you say, I'm gonna run with it. You get to say
she's something, or Columbia. Is she something?
Yeah, but like she had she was a lot lighter than Nina Simone, and just her features. Like I think they even had to put a mold or something on her nose.
They had to do a lot to her face to make her look.
So that's why I actually like Zoe Saldana as an actress.
I do too.
But I was like, I get where people are coming from with that one.
It was a bit much. Are we gonna go back to the N-word stuff with?
That's
people?
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one
that's
is
a huge.
The next one's music. Like
music, okay.
Like
yeah, that's interesting.
With acting, like, do you take the same approach with people like rapping music, like our main Black artists, and also like, you know, saying things like only I feel like we get to say it, such as the N-word. And so, do you think like all artists? Rap artists specifically or R&B artists should have that license too if they're in the culture of hip hop. Like we have to discuss like Tekashi 6ix9ine.
I don't know.
Like I don't. That's why I'm like blackfishing. That's why I'm like he says it quite a bit. Yeah.
He's Hispanic, right?
But when he first came out, I assumed he was like Afro Latino. I really thought that. But when I looked it up, he's not. He's white European, basically Spanish white. So it's like Mexican. Or Mexican. Like, but you're not Black at all. Like, there's no African ancestry in him.
Okay, we give Cardi B a pass.
So,
and I love Cardi
because the argument is because of where she's from, like she's from the hood or whatever, and then Tekashi could have the same argument, like he's from.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. We have our double standards. We do make passes for certain people. Mm-hmm. Cardi B technically shouldn't really be saying the N-word
I don't know.
that.
To me, she's Black. She's half Trinidadian.
But that's what I'm saying.
She's at least half Black.
She is half Trinidadian.
That's what I'm saying. And she grew up around
I forgot. I just thought she was Dominican.
She's
but like you just said, she grew up. That's what I'm saying.
And she's also half Black. She's half Black, half Hispanic.
So she's Afro Latina from the islands, Trinidad. Okay. So
is she? I don't hear her rep that shit.
And they always want to raise bait when it comes to me. That's why I have Afro features. It's like, oh, but your parents are light skinned. Your parents are this. All right, but my grandparents aren't. Well, matter of fact, both my grandfathers, they both got green eyes, and my grandmothers, one of them, she's really like darker than me, and the other one from my mom's side, she's really, really dark. Because people from the Caribbean islands, it's a mixture. You know what I'm saying? It's like the first places where the slaves were taken to. So confused, and they want to dictate your race so bad, and it's like, bro, pick up a passport, pick up a book so you can know.
She rep it all the time.
I remember.
Does she?
She rep it all the time.
Isn't Nicki Minaj from Trinidad?
Yeah. Now Nicki be repping it, but I don't remember Cardi repping it like that. And I love Cardi, but I just don't remember. So I'll have to look into it.
That's funny.
Okay.
I never noticed that.
We give passes. I guess we give passes to. I don't know. I feel like we give passes to certain people. Like, okay, now it becomes a question if you're biracial. Can you say it? Because like, okay, Alato, she is biracial.
We're not gonna do Lotto.
I think Lotto.
I stand Lotto on this podcast.
Okay, I'm just asking.
She has Harlow could say it.
Well, her mom's black.
That's what I'm saying.
Her dad's black. But she's biracial. You have issues with certain biracial people?
I don't. I'm bringing up a topic that like I've heard like in the Black community. So I'm saying I feel like some people get picky and it gets.
I know, and that's where.
And I'm just like, I don't even. It gets. Too
we gotta create some like solid line to me because it does get tricky. It's like if you don't like somebody, then the goalpost changes.
Then the goalpost changes.
And I'm like, no, like to me, my rule is you gotta be at least 25%.
Yeah, like
that's what I'm thinking too. I'm not even like. we can have that conversation. I feel like that's a bridge you cross when you come to it, but I just feel like there has to be definitely solid lines on like who can benefit off our culture. Like I think we need to narrow it down because like we were talking about earlier, like Rachel Dolezal. Like she was the a silver, like she was the NAACP leader of Washington State. She was doing some stuff. Like she wrote like books in the name of like her Black experience. I'm gonna be honest,
I wasn't mad.
You wasn't mad at that?
I mean, the only thing I was mad at was why are you pretending to be Black? But at the same time, we can't be that upset at her. She's doing good.
She was an African American studies teacher.
Who else advocating for Black?
Like,
so I just can't be upset.
I wasn't.
It's like she was.
Y'all wild.
I wasn't pissed. I wasn't pissed off.
The only thing you can't be mad at is for her pretending to be Black. That I can understandably be upset about that. But she's advocating for Black people. Like she's not.
Yeah, like, she's not. No, that's you got to be definitely forefront about that because one, it's like to me, I feel like as Black people, like we don't have a lot of tangible. We do now, like in this current age, but like throughout history, we had so much taken from us, like corporations, like businesses, like things we try to invest in for ourselves, just stripped away from us. And so I feel like the most valuable resource we have right now is our culture. And so for someone to like perpetrate that and falsify like who they really are for like positions and money and different things like that, like that's disrespectful.
That was her intent.
Because she was not. I get in arguments with him, and if I mishold the truth, I'm just as guilty as lying. Like it's the same thing. You're misholding information. We know this is intentionally. Like, come on now.
No, but I'm saying
her intent. She's like, oh, I told y'all I was white. I mean, I got these cornrows in my hair. I'm getting tans every week.
Was she getting rich off of this? Like,
yeah, she.
I don't know what her.
She was an NAACP leader, like for Washington. Spokesperson in Washington. Like she was an African American study teacher. She was having like seminars and different things, and like sharing her Black perspective or. She was profiting off of this community. Like,
but she wasn't doing. In my opinion, she wasn't doing it to get a rich quick scheme.
She made a lot of money though. Like it's not about like she probably wasn't.
Her fault that she made money from the position that she was. I don't know.
She made over $800,000. So like, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying you can't say what you can't really say that she did it just for money. That's what I'm trying to say.
If it walks like a duck, it looks like a duck. It's a scammer. Like, come on.
She also has psychological problems because who the hell pretends to be a different? That's what I'm saying. So it's a little bit. It's a mixture.
Psycho people kill people as well. Are we giving them a pass? Because they have
a murderer and someone who has mental health issues.
You're right. It's two different things. I don't want to joke around about that, but I'm just trying to make a correlation.
No, I know what you mean, but I don't think she's a serial killer.
I don't know. And then I just feel like if we get down to it, like I think politically we're even having more conversations about what defines a Black person as far as like if we're giving out reparations and stuff. Like I think we need to narrow it down to who is considered Black and who. Okay, I'm a strong believer. I don't know who it's going. I'm a strong believer. I'm a strong believer. But I just want us to define that because, like, I think it's important to know because I don't want I don't want to get shortchanged because Rachel Dolezal's out here saying they Black. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to get all my coins. What's the moral of the story? Do y'all have a clear definition of Blackness?
I don't.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of factors involved, so sometimes it gets tricky.
Yeah.
Roman, my nephew, I consider him Black. He has Black.
He has a set of Black grandparents, and he has a Black mom.
Yeah, but a Black mother.
Yeah.
But you do know because of his skin tone, he's going to be. No. Listen, I'm saying. He might be challenged.
Oh, he is.
As he
goes
growing
to
up.
Schools. He's one of the
only. People are gonna challenge. People are gonna challenge.
Yeah.
I feel bad for that, but you know.
That's true. And that's so unfortunate because like he knows he's Black, and like I'm like, why does he have to fight for that?
Right.
Like, nobody. It doesn't matter what community. That's how I feel. Like if you're Black, we all come from the same struggle or whatever, or not even that. It's just like we know our history, we know our ancestry. We're African descendants. But like, I don't feel like just because you're from a certain community, a certain shade, whatever, you have to fight for your Blackness because like that's the last thing we should be trying to fight for.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, y'all want to give y'all socials out? Jared B.
Sure, yeah. You can find me on Instagram, JARODB_, Jared B_.
Okay, on Instagram, it is _Monique_Nicole.
All right, and y'all can find this podcast on @ A Parlay Podcast, A Parlay in the A, YouTube, all that good thing. You can find me at Andre_Akeem.
Y'all can follow me at Khali, KHALI.
Yeah. All right, and as always, thank y'all for parlaying with us. Happy New Year.
Say no more.